Mark Ray Mundy for MMAfighting.com here in New York with Chael Sonnen, who fights Fedor Emelianenko on Saturday night at Bellator 208 on Long Island. It is the semifinals of the Bellator Heavyweight World Grand Prix. Chael,
Right. That's all right. Yeah.
did I get that right?
Yes.
How did I do? You do this far better than I do. How did I do?
That's very sweet. Now, see, now you've complimented me, so now they won't be confrontational. That's a skill. That's a very smart move. Very good. Thank you for that.
I'm just being honest.
All right, buddy. So, you want me to take it from here? Huh? You want me to tell you my thoughts on this fight? So, I like the whole card. Fedor said he wanted to be watching Mitrione and Bader. And that's okay. That's his approach. But I'm the other side of it. I would never miss a Bellator fight. I love it. I watch all the fights. So, I think we got to get through that match. And, if that one ends early, I wish we could just save some time and say Bellator the travel expenses, and we just figure this thing all out in one night, like the good old day. I like that it's a quick turnaround for January 26th, but I hope they have a loser's ball that night too. I hope we play this thing all the way to third. I wouldn't know why we wouldn't. So, I think the four of us have all had enough things to say and enough opinions of each other. Then let's fight the thing all the way out.
Chael, I spoke to you about this a little bit yesterday about turning around from last week's ESPN coverage of Khabib versus McGregor, and now all of a sudden you have to fight maybe the best heavyweight of all time. I'm just curious how the mindset works, because you spend so much time talking about Khabib versus McGregor, and you also got to focus on your own fight, your own training, your own preparation. How do you do that?
So I never miss practice, ever. Practice has never been delayed or late or moved or any excuses made for any other obligation. It is the number one thing in my life as far as career goes. Of course, aside from family, but so they all go hand in hand. I only practice 3 hours a day. I practice for maybe just under an hour in the morning and just under 2 hours in the evening. So not even 3 hours a day. And I hate to sleep and I hate days off. And so, it just gives me a lot of time. I got to do something with my time.
Did the events that happened after the fight was over, Khabib jumping into the cage, the whole melee, did that take more of your time up? Did they expect more from you? Was that more taxing because you had to talk about all that stuff too?
I had fun with that whole thing. I had some opinions on that thing. That thing is still playing out right now. Khabib's saying, if you cut my guys and you got to cut me too, it's a package deal. And the drama's great. The drama's fun. I realize that event was disgusting. Please don't confuse me here, but it's fun. The drama's fun. The punches and the kicks haven't been enough for years. Guys have been punching and kicking each other for years. Why is that the biggest business? Come on. It's fun. There's storylines. There's drama behind it. I loved it.
I have to ask you, because I've gotten some heat, I guess, on social media because these videos have emerged of Conor McGregor throwing a punch in the cage, and I guess in the immediate aftermath, and I think you were in the same boat, and I was, we didn't initially see those replays, and we only saw Khabib jump into the stands, and then all hell broke loose. Have you gotten some hate on social media? Like, Khabib fans are very passionate about Conor throwing the first punch. Have you gotten this?
Yeah. First up, they can shove it up their ass, okay? That whole thing was created by some wimp somewhere about the other guy has to throw the first punch. If you're engaging me aggressively and I let you within arm's reach, I'm a sucker if I allow you to throw the first punch. Okay, the first thing you do, and remember this, if your dads weren't smart enough to tell you, if you learned how to fight from your moms or from your wimpy teachers in your liberal school districts, you don't let somebody get within arm's reach of you when they got that look in their eye. You keep them back, and if they break the distance, you always hit them first. Conor McGregor, who I'm not a defender of, was where he was supposed to be, doing what he was supposed to do. Okay, he was a licensed fighter following the unified rule, which says in front of everything else, you protect yourself at all times. He gets up on a cage and is confronted by somebody who is not licensed to be there and is not supposed to be there. He's not doing what he's supposed to do, and a melee has broken out. Conor McGregor had every reasonable right to throw a punch at him, and that did not start the fight. Khabib had flown over the octagon and thrown a jumping kick into Dylan Dennis. So first off, your facts are wrong that Conor threw the first punch. It's factually incorrect. But secondly, the unified rules state you protect yourself at all times. Conor was where he was supposed to be in an octagon, protecting himself against somebody who had come in to do him harm. That's the reality. And if you ask me if I'm getting hate on social media, then I hate you right back, and you can shove it up your ass, because that is what happened.
You also mentioned Khabib. The latest thing is,
this is the same level of ridiculous. Oh, he talked about I'm friends with Khabib. I haven't talked to Conor in 5 years. I just saw Khabib 4 days before his fight, and we did a workout together. It doesn't change the fact of what happened. He's saying he talked about religion and he talked about my dad. Dylan Dennis wasn't even there when the bus incident happened. If you got a problem with Conor, that's why we walked out here to Las Vegas at an agreed upon time, which is what Khabib said. Tell me the time and I'll show up. And then he did. And then he took care of his business. He's trying to tie in a bus incident with Dylan Dennis, who's sitting in the audience, half quirked, watching a fight. What's one got to do with the other? And then you got the real wimps of the world saying, well, Conor threw the first punch and we've got to the bottom of it. Conor was where he was supposed to be, doing what he was supposed to be doing, confronted. Imagine if you're at a house, okay? These aren't the same examples, but I offer you this because I think you will get it. I don't have to wait for you to throw the first punch. As a matter of fact, I don't even have to throw a punch at you. I can throw a bullet straight between your ears, and nobody's going to ask me twice if you come to my house when you're not supposed to be there. That's what happened.
I've heard people say that we need to now police trash talk in MMA because of what Conor said that may have incited this.
Oh, yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, you have to understand. I have stayed in this sport to set an example because the fellow competitors are such wimps. They're such incredible wimps that will pull out of fights for any reason. They won't sign contracts. Now you got guys, champions of the world, right? Sitting outside begging the leadership for an opportunity. Please give me an opportunity, right? Let me leave you a hat. Let me kiss your ass. Let me set this on your car I'm not supposed to be in. The second they get the belt, they turn the gun back on the leadership every single time. You just gave me the opportunity that I wanted my entire life. And now I feel that I have some power. So now I'm going to tell you how you're going to do business. And if you try to sanction these guys, I will be the judge and the jury, and I'll walk. Then walk. We don't give a damn. Quit putting your hat on cars. Get the hell out of here. I mean, if that's your attitude, beat it. The right guy always shows up. So you want to hear these guys that come, oh, I need this and I need that. No, you don't. What you're doing is you're trying to look for a reasonable excuse to get out of a situation because you went into the tough guy business and you're not that tough of a guy. That's what happened. To answer your question, though, that's not only the problem we have with the fighters. The fans are now a bunch of wimps. The fans are now accepting some of these answers. I can remember times on playgrounds where I saw a guy get out of a fight. One time I saw a guy get out of a fight because his girlfriend wouldn't let him do it. Right. I thought I'd seen everything, but this was his excuse. Now you're seeing guys that want to get out of a fight because of money. Oh, because you're going to release my friends. Oh, because you didn't treat me right. Oh, because my feelings got hurt at a press conference. And the fans let it go. I expect it from the boys in the back. They have been wimps for years. They have been pretend tough guys from the time they set this cage up in 1993. I see it all the time. I see the tough guys that want to come out to the camera, but when it's time to sign a contract, they don't sign it. Or they sign the contract, but when it was time to make that walk, they don't make it. They got to, oh, I don't feel good. Oh, I got a cough. These are wimps. But now all of a sudden the fans are a bunch of wimps too. And Mark, I beg you as a media member, don't become a wimp. Don't become a wimp. This is the tough guy business. If a guy says he wants to fight, nobody's drafted, nobody has to be here. If he says he doesn't want to fight, get his ass out of here. There's never been an Olympic Games. I bring up the Olympics because I respect it tremendously, and I know you people do too. There's never been Olympic Games every 4 years in the history of the world where some guy's sitting on his couch and looks over to his friends and goes, I could have won that. I sat this Olympics out. The right guys will show up. So if you're not one of those guys, if you're an excuse maker, if you're a wimp for any reason, you're in the wrong business.
You said some insensitive things someone would say about guys like Anderson Silva and others, and
some would call them brilliant.
Some would.
It would matter who you asked, I suppose.
And there was never a post-fight brawl between you and one of your opponents before. Have things changed in the sport, do you think, in some ways?
No, listen, these guys aren't the leader of the industry, right? I respect these guys, but they're not leaders. These guys aren't gonna grab microphones or take actions in a cage, and the masses are going to follow them. The masses will follow me. I have the records, and every record that Conor has, he took them from me. I have number 2 in every single one of those categories, but he never would have got him had I not left the organization, and now I'm here and I've got him. So no, you don't get to go look at Anderson and I, 2 leaders of the industry, and then look at 2 jobbers, right? 2 jobbers from foreign countries that come out to North America and fight and act as though that's the new standard for the industry. I have been the standard of the industry. I am the one that wrote the blueprint. I am the one they copied. I am the one that will continue to teach them what they need to know.
Let's refocus for a second.
I might have taught them everything they know, but I promise you, Mark, I have not taught them everything I know.
Let's refocus on your fight with Fedor, because you do have a fight on Saturday. Is it impossible to get a rise out of this man? You were saying some things, and he's not playing ball, I guess, in terms of the talk.
I don't have the foggiest idea why you bring him out here. I mean, he's like everybody's pet idiot. You know, I could just put him on a leash, or I could take my shoe off and we could set it there, or I could set a bowling ball over there and we could just call it Fedor. I mean, who's going to know the difference? He shows up to a press conference with a language that nobody can understand, wearing a T-shirt that nobody can read. It seems to work for him, but if you act like that's somehow going to impress me, it's not. He could be a perfectly nice guy, and I wouldn't discredit anything that he's done, but I'm not scared of him. I've seen guys do that in this sport. They're scared of John Jones. They're scared of Anderson Silva. They're scared of Mike Tyson because they're a bunch of wimps. I don't give a damn, and my message isn't to Fedor. My message is as a competitor to everybody else in the back. I don't care what he did to other people or when he did it. I will be fighting him on Saturday night, and if he cleans me up or I get over on him, we're going to see a fight. I will bring my skills. I will not show up scared like everybody else that either wanted a paycheck or they want it out of their safe. I don't care about those things. I'm going to go out and fight.
Last thing, Chael. Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz, Golden Boy MMA later on this year.
We'll see.
Both. You're not confident this will happen.
Well, you have to understand. So Oscar has finally spent some money on this, right? And this whole thing was a big puff up to Dana. Dana says I'm going to get into boxing, so Oscar says I'm going to get into MMA. So he finally gets these guys to come out. He did book a venue. He does have a license, and he spent some money. So I mean, I guess if you wanted me to bet, it looks as though the show may go on. But I can tell you, Mark, this sport is tiny behind this. You know that. You could reach anybody right now because we all are together. I have not heard of anybody, even by rumor, to be on that card, and they will need 10 other fights, which constitutes 20 other athletes. I have never heard a coach, a manager. Gleason Tibau came out and said that he's fighting on the card. If you want to be quiet, I've never heard anybody else say it. Vitor has talked about he wants on there. Now Vitor's doing interviews trying to get Scott Coker to give him a contract. So I don't think Vitor's on it. That's my point. He was rumored to be fighting Phil Baroni, who's going to be bare knuckle boxing with Chris Lieben. So we know that's not true. What I'm offering to you is it is time. It's not just time from a marketing standpoint. Andy Foster in California, you have to turn in your list and you have to get the medicals underway 30 days in advance, which gives them 11 days to either have a card or not. So as far as those dinosaurs going out there and pawing at each other like declawed kittens, man, I wouldn't bet on it. You? Are you making a prediction the card happens?
I'll be there if it does.
Yeah.
Will you be there?
No, I would watch it, though. I would watch it. Yeah, it's in California, so sorry if I spit on you. I live in Portland, so I won't be there, but I'll watch it, and I'm not trying to piss on what they're doing. I'm really not doing that, but there's something very fugazi going on here. It's very, very fugazi that you would have a card 5 weeks and 6 days out, if I did that math right, that you didn't make an announcement for a co-main event for. And I can tell you, as the commission's work, they are going to have to turn that paperwork in. They're going to have to turn that list in, and that ball is going to have to get rolling. And if it has, then this has been the only secret in the history of mixed martial arts. And if guys can't be loyal to Scott Coker and Dana White, I highly doubt they're going to be loyal to Oscar De La Hoya.
Thanks so much, Chael. Good luck.
That was genius what I just said.